your target. Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you very much. So could we choose social media platforms that, are popular among your target audience, for instance? Depending on what I offer, this we already talked about, which people are popular where. Today, it is evident that if I want, corporate kind of managers, CEOs, big funders and the rest, okay, that class, I might want to utilize LinkedIn, and I will choose very well, wisely, the content that I put on LinkedIn, whether it's about me or the brand. Whereas on Twitter, one is okay to, drop a joke or something, but again, it could, be able to communicate something or resonates with the brand or entertains, just like we've been talking about content marketing. Now we have, can you craft a consistent and compelling brand voice across your social media channels? The best word in here is consistent, because we need to know you for something, and or throughout the channels, the social media platforms. Remember previously we talked about your social media presence. Now we expect wherever we meet MTF Baker to be related to what we know for him. What's the brand? What does it connect? As we read through, we already have that voice of him that we keep following. These guys are always around ABCD. Now, could you actually engage your audience through comments, messages, and live videos to foster a sense of community? This is why I said it is just no longer about posting or talking and then you run away. Even when you're on radio station and you had a talk show, it is very important today that you go live, for instance. If you, whatever small thing that you're actually, achieving as a startup, you could leverage on that. The good thing is devices now available. Your phone can go live, can record a video if you can't do live, but at least could we see you more? And then the comments that come through, sometimes the biggest brands are going to do is just go on, maybe drop like a emoji in terms of reaction, but it is actually important to see my startup responding to whatever comment that has been, fetched. We are going to do chap here so that we allow in questions. There is what we call search engine marketing, SEM, and then pay per click. We could leverage search engine advertising platforms like Google Ads to increase our online visibility. We must have seen Google Ads almost everywhere. Sometimes they annoy, but yes, they are working. If you tried one platform for a month and you see the results they are giving you, how many people reached your business, it would be great. Google, for instance, now is okay. It is open. It is very free. You could go open a business. I mean, just like your startup, go on Google, open a business there. You even put, we are open every other day. We accept ABCD. And you're sure that as people are searching through, they should be able to find your business. And then the good thing is it will generate for you a report at the end of every month, and you're able to actually track and see, this is what my reach looked like. We could also talk about if you need to get worried about developing a targeted pay-per-click campaigns to drive traffic and generate some leads. All these are within Google Ads descriptions in case you get to the platforms. I'll share different links at the end of the day. So could you monitor and optimize your campaigns to ensure you have maximum return on investment? Monitoring and optimizing your campaigns. Of course, we all know that whatever you implement, if you actually took in some time to, kind of monitor the performance and the rest, you should be able to achieve results. Let's talk about email marketing. We said almost every person today that owns a smartphone has an email, at least by force, because at least Android, works with Google, and Google will be able to facilitate your usage of the smartphone in terms of contacts and the rest. So at least we believe that every smart holder these days, whether they opened, whether they have WhatsApp or not, whether they have whatever, but I just expect them to have emails, but also their activities that we go through. And I mean, at least you know that each and every other person that you will be interfacing has an email. Then again, if your your target customers are the email type, you might want to utilize that. So could you build an email list, for instance, and you keep, offering some valuable content or some incentives that you communicate through? Could be incentives from your startup, could be that value that you're communicating from your startup. Could you develop personalized and targeted email campaigns to nurture leads and build customer loyalty? Again, this works a lot with content marketing. We've seen, I've kept receiving mails from a number of individuals and startups that at one point are forcing me to, well, I'm tired. Let me read about this guy's content. What is it about? But also to remember that email is kind of regarded official, kind of. There's that demographic that regards if the information is not by email, it is not actually authentic. There are those. Could we automate email sequences to save time and deliver timely messages? This you could schedule some of these functionalities within email. Now there's another bigger animal that we call influencer marketing. In our areas, in our whatever community, I've never been in a community that does not have an influencer. Whether it could be it could be the high school where I was, it could be the dormitory that I slept in, it could be the circle that you're in, it could be whatever community that we have, that community always gets to have an influencer. Now, if we decided and said, this is our target customers or target market, we could look at that, this segment, who influences it, for instance, or where we are, who are the influencers of the land. Now, you might want to build some collaborations with these local influencers. Then there are those micro influencers that I talked about. Someone, if really someone talked about very well about this product that you make or service that you provided, you're sure there is one or two people that are going to count on that. Politicians leverage a lot on influencers, that so-and-so is a grandfather and has a whole clan behind him, is going to order all the daughter-in-laws and all that. These guys are leveraging a lot on that. And as a startup, you have a chance to leverage on that. Okay. Yeah, sure. So could work on that shortly. Yes. So could we leverage on their credibility and reach to promote your products or services? A minute. Let's have that sound sorted. I understand it's a disturbing one. Okay, wow. So yeah, yes, could we leverage on these influencers? We've seen water companies now put Shiba on their bottle. I'm sorry to talk about direct brands in here. But they are looking at this. Could we look at, and remember that most of these influencers, of course, they have a following. They have a following on their socials. So, and even when one is not really followed a lot, but is an influencer within your target group, giving them your flyer to push it on, their either status or pushing it to their groups would actually add something to your digital marketing kind of strategy. You could also monitor and measure the effectiveness of the influencer partnerships and the rest. All this is part of influencer marketing. I didn't talk about this in detail because I knew we would get it here. We have what we call analytics and performance tracking. I told you almost all these social media platforms have this tool that they are going to be able to draw insights of your performance in terms of reach and the rest. So could you please utilize this? I will share with you, for instance, a link to Google Analytics, and you'll be able to use it to track and measure performance of your digital marketing efforts. Different ways you'll be able to see how it works. But also, you have to take it upon yourself to analyze key metrics such as your website traffic, how many people are visiting my website, the conversion rates, social media engagement, and the rest. The good thing is all these tools are here. You will be able to have the links at the end of the presentation. Could you make data-driven decisions to optimize your strategies and achieve better results? All reports, all analysis are always there. The sole reason we do analysis is usually to inform our decisions, largely. What are we going to change because the report indicates A, B, C, D, okay? Largely. So that is another important area. And ladies and gentlemen, we finally get to the end of this brief session around tips that you could leverage on, that you could utilize to leverage digital marketing. Now, here are the tools that I've been talking about. Google Analytics helps you to track and analyze website traffic, user behavior, and conversions. I put a link there in case you get the slides. You'll go to, once you click in there, it takes you directly to the tool. We have SEMrush that actually helps you to conduct keywords research, competitor analysis, and track search engine rankings. Again, this is part of search engine. Then we have MailChimp. You're able to, with it, you're able to create and automate email marketing campaigns, build subscriber lists, and measure email performance. That is for the demographic that will leverage a lot on emails. We have HotSuite that will help you to manage and schedule social media posts across multiple platforms. And then also it helps you to monitor social media conversions, conversations, and analyze performance. We have Buffer, which will help you to schedule and publish social media content, track engagement, and manage your multiple social media accounts, like from a single kind of touch. We have Canva. Again, if you've not leveraged on Canva, you also need a moment of silence. Sorry, we won't give that today, but at least click on that link, and with that, you'll be able to create professional graphics and visual content for social media, websites, and marketing materials. This is a very powerful tool of all. You need to first visit it because it, like we saw, it starts from you creating some of this content, and Canva helps you to create both visual visual content for your social media websites and whatever. So even and the that professional kind of graphics that we've been talking about, it could be the presentations. For instance, this presentation was made with Canva. It could be flyers, it could be short videos, it could be CVs and the rest. Please visit this website. We have Moz, which is a platform for search engine optimization audits. It also facilitates keyword research. It also help you to track website rankings for where you fall. Google Ads should be very known to all of us because these are a norm now. Quite a lot with a lot of websites. So you could advertise on Google's search engine results pages and also display a network to reach a wider audience. We have BuzzSumo, that's how I call it. It will help you to discover popular content, analyze competitors' performance, and also indicate key influencers in your industry. When you click on that link, you'll be able to be guided through how you could actually use that tool. We have Trello. It helps you to organize and manage digital marketing campaigns and also content calendars and collaboration with the team members. So you will be able to utilize that. Hotjar will help you to visualize user behavior on your website through heat maps, recordings, and surveys. Sprout Social will help you to monitor social media mentions, engage with the audience, and analyze social media performance. All these, they have their links, and you're able to utilize that. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much. I don't know if you have any questions as yet, and we could do chap. We end at that. Our time is fast spent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could we be having questions here in house? For the audience that is online, feel free to send your questions in the chat, and we'll be able to ask Mr. Byaruhanga.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing with us this content. Mine is how can we get those links at the last slide? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure this it's a PDF. This slide will be shared with you in case you're interested at the venue, and then those links are clickable. As long as it's a PDF, those links are clickable. You'll be able to click on every other tool. There is a link, and you're able to reach out to see whether that helps you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Charles. I'm asking about the digital marketing tools. You've given us many of them, but I'd like to know, in most cases, most of them are paid for. I'd like to know if there are some that are free and ones that are paid for, and how much you need to, you can go in that detail. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, most of I could perhaps run back. Okay. So if you see this slide, for instance, a very big percentage of these platforms, you will be able to use them for free. It's in simple cases, for instance, like search engines. If you want to optimize, that usually is charged. That again depends on how much you want I mean, the reach that you're targeting. I shared there some link. You'll be able to see the ratings, but that usually depends on different reaches that you want, that may want to reach. But again, like I told you, Google Business is free. You could go create that, at least have that, and you're sure whenever they search something related to your business, you have chances at least to have your business show up. So that is, for instance, free. Websites, for instance, there are tools that could help you design some for free. But again, you will need to pay something small to host, and usually the cost can't go beyond 150,000 Uganda shillings to host for a year. Then usually the developers charge between 450 to 800, depending on the functionality of your website. This is another achievable one. Mobile apps, there are those that literally are free. It could be, for instance, we have omoleso.com at the Innovation Village. That's a free platform that one could list. We have a number of e-commerce platforms that are available, and then there are those, of course, that they are paid for. Emails, unless you want to optimize, I put for you a tool. All these tools have a free version and a paid for version. Like I told you, that depends on really your preferences. But the beauty with most of these tools is that you have a chance to even first leverage on the free version. Then SMSs, we have bulk SMS service providers. Those usually charge some minimal costs. But we have, this is why this social media side is aside. we have this power that is now the media of today and the media of tomorrow that we could utilize, and largely it is free unless you want to go an extra mile. For instance, is when you go for Twitter Blue, pay for extra kind of functionalities. Is when you have to pay for Facebook ads and all that. But at least the free side of it, have we utilized it? That's the question. So it is very true. Some are free, some are paid for. I don't know if we have other questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sankara. My name is Gerald. Mine is really not a question, but you talked about influencer marketing, and I wanted you to touch a bit on social media influencing, because I have for the last, I think, couple of 5 years, there has been emergency of social media influencing even here in Uganda. So I wanted you to touch, and I see it kind of, it's a platform some youth are using actually to kind of earn a living from. I wanted you to talk very small about it in terms of how someone can be a successful one, and what qualifies someone to be an influencer actually. Thank you.
Okay, wow, thank you very much. I would lie if I said there's this known formula of which one is going to use to become an influencer, but up and about, it has been rotating around the content one is able to create for. Okay, let me talk in the context of, this is a Sankara who is not a celeb, who is not a radio presenter, who is not a TV presenter, but basically wants to grow from Katwe to becoming that influencer. I have not seen a particular formula, but those that have seen become influencers, at least in the last 3 years, have leveraged on content creation. And they have, of course, wanted to be known for something. They have decided to, for instance, become consistent with what they will actually communicate, leverage on the social media platforms that they will have. Of course, sometimes on social media, you will receive a message, please help follow me, and the like. But the most organic way of growing the influencing spirit within you has always been around creating that right content, playing around the best that you can give with a particular channel. YouTube has its own, TikTok has its own, WhatsApp the same, and the rest. So for instance, with people influencing on WhatsApp, is someone is going to show you the previous, how many people viewed their status, and someone is in 500 plus. Okay, let me reach your audience, for instance. Now that one, the strategy was to save as many contacts and also reaching out, having the other ones. I have my comrade MTF Baker, and I'm sure hope you want to tackle this one because you're pro in digital marketing too. Do you mind unmuting and having to say something?
I wanted to talk about whether one can earn a living from digital marketing or content creation, to be particular. I don't know if that fits in the comment that you would want me to give.
Okay. I think that partly also answers him. His was, I think, largely on how one could become an influencer on social media. But you could also go ahead and share about one would actually earn a living through that.
Well, thank you very much. For one to become an influencer, first of all, let's understand what influencers do. Influencers give their opinions to the people that follow them, or to their numbers, or to their audience. And you find the audience holds their opinion to a high esteem, rather to the other extent, whereby like the influencer is like their god. Once he says, let's go the other side, the followers will go the other side. So for you, you must establish yourself as a brand. You tell people what you stand for. If you want to be maybe a music influencer, then you must show the public that for you, you're interested in music. You always talk about music. People always reach out to you when they are interested in music and all that. So you can't generally tackle so many things and you become an influencer. An influencer is always interested in one field. You give expertise on what you know generally. Then from there, people will always contact you. Either, let's say he has been talking of having professional blogs. If I'm a travel blogger, I'm always giving opinions about the places I've visited. Maybe after a week, I'm always publishing the top 10 best destinations of the month. People will always reach out to me, pay me to make a review on their destinations. They will always pay me to make sure that they rank in my count or in my list I will be compiling. Then if you're like a music influencer, maybe you always publish the top 10 hits in Uganda. You've always had people complaining that they pay these people to rank them #1 and they don't. Of course, I'm not saying that you should manipulate. You should always be authentic. And if people pay you and you find it doesn't fit in or it will affect you, it will affect your brand, you say, no, this thing is on merit. So you always get those opportunities to be there. So it all goes to what you want to stand for and you consistently talk about it. The interested people will always come to you. When you are a sports journalist or a sports enthusiast, people will always come to help, for you to help them maybe market their sneakers, their running shoes, because they have seen you recommending some good brands. That's how you can become an influencer. If you have your numbers, companies will always look for you and give you that gig. Then maybe another thing is that what I wanted to talk about is earning from digital marketing. You can either earn as an entrepreneur, whereby you're selling your products through digital platforms, or you take it as a career whereby you can always create content for the people that want such services. Maybe you become a social media page handler where they pay you a monthly retainer, or they pay you for creating weekly content or monthly content. Maybe you are a PR of a certain organization, and among the KPIs is to make sure that these people have a good social media presence. All those can be the channels how one can earn from digital marketing.
Wow, thank you very much. The key word there is for you to become an influencer, of course, there must be a group that you want to target and become a leader in that. People need to look out for you in a given area. We know what these guys did in the last elections of this nation. As long as someone consistently posted regarding particular kind of line of the political alignment, they gained popularity and they became influencers in their line. So we cannot do it all. We cannot do all, like we can't. What is our niche? Which area are we going to grow ourselves to become influencers in that? Otherwise, there's several ways that we could eat big from this. I've told you social media is now the media of today. If there's a radio in your area that has not started streaming on Facebook, that should be your opportunity. Grab it, go in and stream all talk shows that are coming to the radio stations because that's what they're supposed to be doing, and people are willing to actually pay for that. Yeah, I see we have more questions. Let us have them.
Yes, we still do have some questions here in-house. I don't know if you want, we'll go to the online section later. Let's finish up with here and then we can go to the online.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Selma. My question is on content creation. What if you're trying to target big brands? Let's take, for example, Now Special, and you have an idea, an innovative idea that can market their brand, but remember these brands have legal policies, they are attached to that, but you still want to sell yourself to them and through social media. How would you come about that?
Okay, in a nutshell, I would say, for instance, to convince me that you want to become that lady or social media person at Creative, there are things that I will look at. Again, it comes back to what are you known for? What have you been, you know, putting up? What have you been posting? The beauty with social media, the beauty with digital marketing, I won't say it's talent, it's result oriented. We look at what you've done, it's about numbers, it's evidence based. Yeah, it's just evidence based. You remember with radio stations, you would go, then they say, okay, record, please send us an audio of you presenting what you wanted to present. These days, if you're good with social media. If I want to run a talk show that talks about ABCD, I will dive into it, do that. King Kalisa is looking at me and I don't have to explain anything. So yes, I understand it is really hard to, you know, penetrate, one would call that a given farm, for me to, you know, sell in this innovative idea. But social media has given us an opportunity to, okay, it's a good idea, go ahead, first put it out, even if it's not with my brand, because the legal issues there come in, and then I'll be convinced from the results. That's what I would be able to say. Have you worked on it before? Is it, of course, anyway, those are the questions anyway. Have you done it for anyone? Can we check? Can you send us links? That has grown to almost all sectors now, even for photographers, even for video producers. It is about, can you send me a link? Can I see your work? So where is your work? And then I want to believe that slowly by slowly, we'll be able to influence the other ones. Though we could also utilize what used to happen back in the days. Back in the days, we would see red paper of, sorry, again, to mention the brand. We would see some, you know, brands, you know, taken to court or something, and, you know, it is about fake stories that they have written, or it could be true stories, but, you know, they are not supposed to be in the news, for instance. But I have sat with a number of them, and the strategy was, for instance, if it is University X that is neighboring University B, we would write you know, for instance, we are targeting University B to give us money. Let me use your example. We are targeting University X to give us money for this cool idea that we think can actually market them. These guys would look at University A, which is a competitor, and write maybe the very best about them. University A leads in A, B, C, D. These are testimonies. But they would do that, very sure that University B will be able to call, the PRO must be able to call this guy. This article you wrote about the other university, man, we will need the same. And finally, the gentleman would not struggle to, you know, get the earning from University B. So we could still, you know, utilize it the same way this side. Could there be a competitor that this guy I'm targeting is you know, afraid of? Can I do this very idea with this guy, the competitor, while I'm targeting the other gentleman? So all this will actually come through. Otherwise, in the interest of time, we could have more questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sankara. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francis Bazakupeta. My concern is about blogs. I have a daughter who wants to do something. It's a little unique, as in I haven't seen it being done, but should like to do it. And one particular advice we were given is that she can go via blogs. Now, I would like you to help me understand the key salient features of a blog. I mean, I would read about it. They're telling me it's a social platform, but there are so many. But I would like you to help me understand the salient feature of a blog. We are not looking at earnings per se, but she wants to do something out of heart to try and pass it on to other children to appreciate it. I thank you.
Okay, once again, not so many years ago, now not so many years ago, I'm talking about 2015, 2016, 2017. Whenever we would hear about blogs, we would run to, you know, think about the blogging sites, blogspot.com, or I have my own Sankara Times, or I'm going to create xupdates.com, which still counts, but blogging has now gone a mile, has gone beyond the website. It has gone beyond exampletimes.com to, you know, having sure that these articles are actually running on these platforms. That's why you see these days, even Twitter Blue, you pay and you're able to post at least a longer article, because blogging these days, largely, you will pay around text and images, because they got a new term for videos and they call it vlogging. So there we want to go. Let's come back to blogging. So my friend there that is willing to invest in that, again, it doesn't really get to be so much different from what we've already talked about. He or she could go ahead and have the site of timesblog.com, whatever, okay, exampleblog.com, exampletimes.com, or learningwhatever.com as a website, which is very fine. But that doesn't stop them from having a mobile app in case they have the budget. That shouldn't stop them from getting their articles to run on social media platforms like Facebook. YouTube, meanwhile, also introduced posts. In case you didn't know, I could post there my of course not so long, but at least I could post there my simple article. Twitter now, you could be able to post a longer article, and a number of other platforms. But the unique, finally, what I would suggest is that even when they create themselves one, maybe a page of Facebook or Twitter, whatever, let them not stop at their platform alone. I'm sure that today or before the day ends, most of you people will receive updates via a platform called Phoenix, depending on where you went to school. I'm sorry about if I mess with the pronunciation. Phoenix, for instance, there are many other blogs that are around. If the content targets universities, Campus B is there. We have a number of them, quite many, that like you said. So what I was saying is that if the budget is there, they may not also just leverage only on their platforms that they have created. They could still go ahead and look at the bloggers that are available, you know, analyze the following, and, you know, work with them still. That could still help, because ideally, at the end of the day, the interest is to see that my article, my images, or my content gets to reach as many people as possible. The beauty with it is that it is easy. I cannot share a longer article, for instance, on WhatsApp. People won't read. but I could craft a very good, title with some simple description, and then the rest is a link, and I am sharing it on WhatsApp. My target audience that are willing to read around the title will surely have to click through the blog and will be able to read through. Whether it's a link from Facebook, whether it's a link from YouTube, whether it's a link from your website, doesn't matter. But at least I wish, or I hope, that I have actually tried to answer you. Thank you.
Do we still have some questions in here? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Byaruhanga. My name is Wilfred. You had earlier mentioned something like search engine optimization. And I don't understand that. Okay. A friend would refer to it, please find about it, research about it. And now that I've said something about it, would you kindly in a minute explain to me what is search engine optimization? Thank you.
Okay, I had opened, for instance, one of the links that I shared with you. I want to share the link and the screen, and you'll be able to move with me. Where is it? So briefly, search engine optimization, we are saying, as Sankara, for instance, I don't know, for instance, what do you offer? Sorry, if you still have the microphone, what's your service or product?
Oh, I have a community-based organization that I run in Byaruhanga district.
That you run in where?
Byaruhanga district.
Okay, so let me say I'm a potential funder looking at CBOs in Rwanda is in Kigezi, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would, for instance, say Kigezi region, yeah, in Uganda. Okay. Okay, so for instance, you see, Amasco Amasco.org comes first. You're able to see the screen?
Yes, we are.
The rest is Uganda National NGO Directory. If you have listed yourself there, you can be able to grab an opportunity. But we also have Kick Corruption out of Kigezi coming through. If you scroll down, there are not so many. Kigezi Orphans Project.org. Welcome to Chisoro District. So there is a reason why Amasco comes first. Amasco organization. So in a nutshell, in our layman's understanding, we are only saying if someone searches some keywords that might want to relate to what you offer as a startup or SME, can you be visibly, landed on to very quickly? Yeah, can you appear, among the first 10, for instance? Because there's a lot on social media. I mean on internet, specifically Google, for instance. So, and remember, search engine means a platform that we go to and we're able to search a number of stuff and, in a layman's understanding, yeah? Google is, for instance, an example of search engine. We have Bing.com, we have Yahoo, or whatever. There are so many, but at least the most common one here in our case is Google. So for instance, we are saying, can you optimize Google that whenever they search some of, keywords, I am able to come up fast. In simple terms, that is what it means. And when you get the list, you'll be able to see that one of the links I shared is this semrush.com. When you visit it, you're able to find, a number of functionalities that would help you put in some different keywords. You input also your website, and you're able to at least also have edge whenever people search about you. That is the simplest way I think I would put it, unless there's someone who is willing to add on that?
Okay, so we have a few more questions in case there is no one online who wants to add on to that. We have a few more questions, then we'll go to the ones online.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. I have two questions. I'm Charles once again. The first one is, if you find yourself in a situation where you have to think about the target audience and the content to give, what would you choose first between the target and the content? Because at times the content is targeting some specific group of people, but you also want to target another. So what would you do if you want to target and then also the content? Is there anything that comes first? Like, could you consider the content first or the target first? Then my second question is, when you're giving the tools and all that, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook, and didn't hear you talk about this artificial intelligence app of ChatGPT. I don't know if there's also something you can do about that, or you have to pay for it, or since it's an artificial intelligence, you don't have to do anything. It works with Google. Thank you so much.
Okay, wow. You're very, very amazing. Very, very amazing there. Let's first go first with content first or target audience. Like we put, I want to first worry about the people that I'm targeting, the people that I'm looking at, because anyway, that is what is going to inform, even before you think about digital marketing, that is what is going to inform your marketing strategy anyway. Because you ought to know that I am targeting a Sankara who is like this, is, you know, likes this, this is the age, this is the online behavior, this is it. And then that would help me to craft content. The only challenging situation is what you described, where you find yourself with two different kind of target audiences. That at one point I am targeting this kind of group that, whose traits and statistics or attributes are totally different from target market B. But even then, from your sharing sequence or posting sequence or publishing sequence, you could identify the times that these audiences actually could be reached at, and that is from the online behavior. Usually it is hard to find that totally different target audiences have a similar online behavior. It is rare. So there are other attributes that you will visit now. The time that this group can be reached, for instance. I know that if I'm targeting young people, in this case, I'll be able to target them around this time or around this kind of period or around this kind of time, for instance. Then if I wanted to target audience B, they are often available on this platform here and that. I don't know whether you're getting me. So if one audience, for instance, was targeting the young people, you know that, okay, these are young female, they are locked on to TikTok, for instance, okay? Then you could say, okay, now these was are not so common on TikTok, but I could find them on LinkedIn, and a few of them usually like YouTube channels that are like ABCD, but also they are in WhatsApp groups, ABCD. You get, all that is part of the strategies. Then there you know how to disseminate different, different kind of information to different kind of your target audiences. Otherwise, that is it. Then thirdly, lastly, about ChatGPT, why I thanked you is because I wanted to end with a question whether in the room we had anyone that didn't know ChatGPT, and we end with a moment of silence for them. But since you're bringing it at this moment, do we have anyone in the room that doesn't know anything about ChatGPT? Okay, don't worry, we won't do the moment of silence. We are here to help each other. Do you have anyone who is hearing about ChatGPT for the very first time, or someone that has not used it already?
Feel free to raise your hand. There will not be a moment of silence, if you have promised.
No, they won't. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't see any hands, and I think most of the people have heard of this term.
And that's great. But okay, for the three of you that feared to raise your hands, ChatGPT is a powerful tool that you might want to utilize and rely on. Where we are headed, you won't avoid it if you want to, gain edge in competition, because it has solved the fear that most of us always had. You see, we've been talking about content creation, but it's not easy to generate ideas. But it is very easy with GPT now to run and type, gentlemen, I run ABCD. I have a CBO in Rwanda that looks at ABCD as objectives. Would you help me generate some kind of strategy, social media strategy that I can follow for the month of May? And it is so quick, just like you could chat with Sankara and say, hello, Sankara, and I'm like, hello, okay, great. Do you mind doing this? I mean, I'm bringing it that to show you that it is different from Google, because someone would argue that, yeah, I could run to Google and say that. No, Google would return a number of results, then you have to go search, and it is not direct. Here, it is just like you could be able to talk to someone. It is direct and on point. Immediately, you have your social media strategy generated, like then and then. Monday, please post 2 posts about children that are like this. Your CBO objective 2 looks at this. Please, on Wednesday, craft some good video that talks about ABCD. On Friday, don't forget to wish mothers a very nice weekend of ABCD. The other day, it will break down. And whether you don't understand, you will still go ahead. Just like you could say, Sankara, can you clarify on this? Or can you add in this? It is the same thing. You say, no, can you add an element of ABCD? And then it will generate. So anything to do with proposals, articles, ideas for content, anything really, it has all created and there. And it's not only GPT, there are other artificial intelligence tools that you could be able to utilize. But GPT in particular is here to, that help facilitate or, help the thinking. Not that we don't think, but we think better with GPT. On a good day, of course, that is going to be a debate on whether it is doing more harm than good on our thinking capacity. But whatever the debate is, if you're not utilizing artificial intelligence, you might lose out on some competitive advantage kind of tools. Now there, for instance, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you must source for funding, pitching and the rest, proposal writings and then the rest. This gentleman in GPT, I'm using gentleman because on a lighter note, these days we fear women. You might say this woman and you have a whole debate for a night. But that's on a lighter note, please. Don't worry. So the gentleman in GPT will help you generate, for instance, a pitch deck for your idea immediately, will help you generate a marketing strategy there and then, will help you analyze the target market of your startup there and then. You get? So please, let's leverage on that. I think I will be able to add it also on the links, but if I don't, it's just openai.com. You search for open, the word open, ai.com, and then you're able to sign up, and then the rest is to chat, just like you could be able to chat. You can ask anything, every other thing regarding your startup. I want to believe in this context. Otherwise, thank you very much, the gentleman that pushed that question.
So, Mr. Byaruhanga, we have one more question in the house, and then about 2 or 3 questions online. So, and then we'll be able to close up this session.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sankara. My question, I'll use a scenario to explain it and then bring it up here. I'll use is, let me say you're trying to open Google, and then you're searching about a university. So as you're searching, you put in the name of the university, and then the pop-up comes up. Buy this product at this price and what. So it depends on the motive. The others which are very catchy, you tap on it, it switches you to the product. So it diverts you away from the university. So my question is, are those also doing digital marketing, and how does that come up? Because you search for university, but the attention is diverted to a product which comes up as a pop-up. Just kindly hope to explain that, and then that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. You want to understand that these tools that I shared at the end of the presentation, the makers kind of interlock their services with a number of companies, because companies, because that's their business model anyway. That's why you see we are using WhatsApp for free, you're accessing Google for free, because their business model rotates around them being able to reach people. So search engine optimization comes in this question also, because at one point we are telling Google that whenever they search around this kind of words, that's why we call them keywords, please act this way. Now, the other charges that the gentleman asked about, there's where you're going to find whether you want to be linked to Google Ads with keywords. So that at one point when they search Sankara, there's that advert that is going to come through that talks about services that relates to this gentleman. So it all comes back. You ask whether they are doing digital marketing. It is yes. The question is yes. I mean, the answer is yes, because people are looking at utilizing that as an opportunity. And while Google pitches to these businesses, that is their business model, that we will be able, if you pay this amount, we'll be able to show content about your business whenever people, for instance, are searching anything to do with this kind of work. For instance, you're right, if we search Makerere University, that's when you will see adverts of scholarships, ABCD, and the right. And the likes. So yes, it is part of digital marketing. We could run through the online questions.
Yes, we could.
Okay, let's quickly run through some of them. Okay, Justin, thank you for the session. Is it advisable to use AI in content creation, that is creating blog posts, post captions, or one word, or one will be flagged by Google AI detectors? Is AI going to affect creativity of content creators? How can we use AI in an appropriate way? The talk of AI, I would not want to sound like, oh my, this guy is an expert around artificial intelligence, is a new concept. Most of us are really trying to interact with it. From our understanding, I have a tech background, I did IT. I understand AI is being developed with whatever information we input, whether we're searching or we're feeding, it is learning from our interactivities. So yes, at one point, especially in some countries, like maybe the USA, I want to believe there are limitations on how AI generated content should be able to, be availed. At one point, GPT will tell you, this particular one here, I don't have much information about it. But we could use it in simple terms, as simple as the way I said. GPT, I run ABCD. I want to create a very good article that talks about ABCD, a very good opinion kind of article that talks about ABCD. Would you able to generate a sample, for instance, and then quickly it generates for you a sample? That, of course, as a human being, you need to analyze and put, figures that, facts that you believe are actually within the law. Within the law, and communities, they are not community sensitive and the rest. So yes, There's an extent at which we want to use AI in content creation, because for instance, like I told you, it will generate for you ideas. Now, like adverts, for instance, short video adverts, you could ask, can you generate for me a play, for instance, or a short advert kind of flow that I'm going to use to shoot my advert, and then it will generate for you with conversations. Actor number one is Sankara. Sankara says this, the other one does this, the setting is like this, handle like this. So at the end of the day, of course, we are using AI, for instance, to communicate, but we must be cautious, because, for instance, some AI is able to generate graphical content. Graphical content like, okay, you're going to get Sevo, for instance, putting on whatever that you can be able to, maybe you make t-shirts, for instance. This AI is available, that I'm going to get Sevo putting on a t-shirt of Mwagire Gundi, okay? You want to be cautious with that. Of course, we are sure, because that infringes on, disturbs the peace of the person, of someone. Yeah. Yeah. So you want to be very mindful, but yes, there is an extent at what AI is coming in to help with content creation. You ask whether AI is going to affect creativity. Like I said, that debate, I think, has already started, because there are reasons to prove on either side. The other times, Chris, again, I won't mention the brands. The other times, cartoonists, for instance, would, generate from creatively their mind. You would tell them, Chris, can you generate for me a cartoon that communicates my service in ABCD? And then he's going to use his comical way to draw a cartoon that you're sure when you share, he's going to, take your message. Yeah. For instance, you say, I do GPS tracking. The other days, you would tell someone to draw a cartoon, for instance, and then there's a wife surprised seeing a vehicle somewhere, and then the husband had told her, this is where someone would draw that, for instance, and that was out of creativity. But yes, also, AI is helping me, Sankara, who would not quickly think about such an idea, to quickly have this idea on mind and have it out. So we will leave the debate to be the debate. At one extent, yes, it is affecting creativity. At a greater extent, it is boosting creativity. Wow, I see some guys are not believing that that is true. But yeah, it is both-sided. Justin, again, the organizers kindly share information and such. Okay, that information will be able to be shared. Okay. Wow, looks like there are not so many questions on the chat. I think it was Agaba Esther who earlier asked about whether we need, okay, it was, is there any ethical consideration or legal regulations that I should be aware of while doing my digital marketing activities? This is again what we've been talking about previously. Well, there are countries like Uganda where there are not so many regulations yet, but for instance, also the Computer Misuse Act, if it proceeded anyway, some of these would be also getting us. But I remember previously, for instance, in COVID-19 time, you remember the concoction of Chiza Besige, of mix ABCD. At one point, I saw someone using it in an advert, for instance, and the comment down was, you're not allowed to use this message, for instance. Or so you have again to be conscious around the known laws that we know that govern the country. For instance, you might not want to use my photo on your flyer without asking me. This should be a courtesy, kind of call on me. Can I use your photo, for instance, on the flyer? Can I? So there's that. Really, it comes back to the laws that we already know that govern the land, and how sure you're going to be sure that your digital marketing really does not infringe on anyone's rights, for instance. So that's, I think, how I would be able to put it up. But though, of course, there are countries with clear laws guiding on how you should be able to do. But also social media, media platforms, many countries took it back to the managers of these platforms. So that's why it is hard to, for instance, use Chameleon's song in your video. If you post it, the social media is intelligent enough to know that there's a copyrighted content in here. It will either inform Chameleon that there is content here that has your content. Are you okaying it to use it? It's okay. If not, they will delete it. Posting nudes and all this kind of community sensitive information, some of the social media platforms have gone ahead to kind of regulate. Twitter has gone ahead to regulate, you know, information that is not regarded for the community. So again, it comes back to that. But again, you know, you have a lot to lose with your startup in case, and I mean, when we come back, because, you know, we are talking about startup leveraging digital media, you have a lot to lose as a startup than actually as an individual. Otherwise, are we calling it an evening? Looks like there are no more questions.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. I don't know if you want to give us any final remarks, but we have concluded with the questions that we have here in the house. Maybe you could give us your closing remarks, any advice to the people here, our audience here, and our audience online. Any questions that, I mean, any remarks or advice that you might have for them, and then we can call it an evening.
Wow, thank you very much. It won't be a long one, guys. Don't worry. It's a simple one. Social media is the media of today, but also it is now a determinant in very many aspects. It can determine whether you're going to win that contract as a startup. It can determine whether you're going to land that job, the next application you're making. It can also determine whether you're going to win that grant that you applied for. So depends how we use it, how we utilize it. All those, you need to be mindful. The social media is an opportunity that we could leverage on. I wonder, or I can imagine in that house, there could be only one person, maybe without a smartphone. So that means we have that leverage that we can move with this tool that could help me work on content creation. I have access to social media information and the opportunities and the likes. For instance, me, if I want to learn opportunities that are around, I will run to Twitter and put apply Uganda, just 2 words, and search apply Uganda on Twitter, and then hit latest, and then I will see. Some of them, of course, are job opportunities or what, so I'm not interested. Most of them also will be funding opportunities, fellowship opportunities that I land on and I'm going to be utilizing. So it's not social media that can be bad. It is us, how we could find a way of utilizing that. And trust me, almost everyone else now, whenever we talk about your startup, we will be able to run to see what online presence you have and how actually you're viewed there and what content you put. And that tells a lot about your person of the branding and whatever. And when we talk about social media, we usually forget WhatsApp. But WhatsApp is now, like we said, is now actually more closer. It connects you to all the people around you, especially the status updates. You want to be mindful about the content we put. Sometimes we can want to leverage a lot on that to put startup information and not rather the memes. And okay, it's great to be a meme king. It's okay. But we could leave some of them, really. We could leave some of them because we can easily brand you as that. We can easily brand you as that. Right now, there are names that I know whenever they mention Liverpool, I'm going to say, so and so. Whenever they mention entrepreneurship, I say, this guy would qualify for this thing. So it comes back. It has now, you know, that's the other days it would be hard to do a personal branding. This time it is that easy. Someone can easily tell. We know we've seen people say another smartphone in wrong hands. Yeah, you don't want to be part of that caption. So otherwise, have a good night. Been very, very interesting to interact with you. And I hope you could pick one or two from this talk. I already picked some from you, and I'm sure you could also pick some from this talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Byaruhanga. This has been a very educative, informative, insightful session. And we thank you very much for taking your time to explain to every single person who had a question here. We're very grateful, and we hope to host you again soon. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned something. I've learned something on creative, how to have creative content, how to brand it. I hope everyone picked something. In case you haven't registered, the tab for registering is still there. Please feel free to give us your feedback. Your feedback really helps us to be able to set out more of these conversations, more of these talks, so that we can interact with each other and learn from each other. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Feel free to leave. Thank you.